Okay, good morning, everyone. Please have a seat. My name is Patricia Lodge. I'd like to welcome you to the Medals of Excellence ceremony, and this is for the 2019 honorees. At this moment, we're going to have the presentation of the colors by the Department of Security's Eagle Team Honor Guard. So can you please stand? Honor Guard, please present the colors. Marsha Thompson is now going to perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched, we so gallantly streamed, and the Rockies regal upon tasting in gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Marsha. Beautiful. Honor Guard is dismissed. Please have a seat. So once again, welcome. As you know, our Medals of Excellence ceremony recognizes and celebrates our employees for their extraordinary acts of, in some cases, bravery, selflessness, and just overall dedication to their jobs. Today, we're honoring 34 employees. So we're presenting 3 different categories of awards, and I'm just going to real briefly go over them. The first one is for distinguished service, and distinguished service is for those employees who've demonstrated outstanding efficiency that reflects the highest standards and ideals of a dedicated public employee. Commendation is for job-related acts involving personal risk and requiring exceptionally good judgment. Heroism is for those employees who performed specific acts of bravery. Now, this could be on or off the job, and in some cases, it's in extremely dangerous circumstances. So New York City Transit moves over 8 million people daily around the greatest city in the world. Now, we don't always get the credit that we deserve for that, but our employees are the ones that are moving the trains and the buses. And you have to remember that many days they come to work thinking that it's going to be uneventful, and it turns out to be something totally, totally different. So we really, really have to thank them for that and continue to recognize them and praise them. So today, we're going to have some stories of employees that save customers from harm, little concern for their own safety. They saw something and they did something. Saving lives, as we know, is not in the job description, it's not on your resume, it's not something that you put on there. But our employees, they don't hesitate to do so. They see someone that's in need and they help them as much as they can. So in the face of dangerous circumstances and risk to themselves, some of our employees have demonstrated real bravery. You're gonna hear different stories today, and it's gonna vary. One of the things that actually surprised me as I was reading through the stories is how many children get lost in New York City and how many of our employees actually find them wandering the street 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know what the parents are doing, but that just stood out for some reason. So I want to say congratulations to each medalist. Thank you for your service to our customers through your service to New York City Transit. So our honorees were nominated not just by their peers, but also in some cases by customers who felt that they really did something that deserved the commendation. So we don't get enough opportunities to acknowledge our employees, as I said before. So it's really great just to be here with all of you to say thank you, thank you, thank you for everything that you've done and you continue to do. Congratulations. So I wanted to mention that in line with President Andy Byford's priority of engage and empower, we have had and we continue to have different recognition programs. We've had the biannual awards, we've had the on-the-spot awards, and I mention it because I want to just stress that employee recognition is essential. It's not, we don't have a choice, we need to do it. We need to remember that without our employees, we would not be where we are today. They deserve respect, they deserve praise, and they deserve to be acknowledged for the work they do every day. Okay, get off of my soapbox. Okay, at this time, it's my honor to ask President Andy Byford to please come up and say a few words to congratulate the medalists.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I just want to build off to start with by just commenting and picking up where Patricia left off. Absolutely, this is a key part of our renaissance as a transit agency. It's actually 2 years ago yesterday that I stood outside Bowling Green and said there's 4 things that need to be done to get New Yorkers the transit system that they need. And the first 3 were the ones that people probably expected, and transforming the subway. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do there, modernizing stations, putting in new signaling systems, really driving up punctuality, et cetera, and we're well on the way to doing that. Similarly, buses, we want to reimagine our bus network, get the buses through ever more crowded streets, but find a way to get people back riding the buses. Again, check, we're on the case. Make the system fully accessible. You can't be proud of a transit system until and unless it's accessible to everyone. And again, I'm very proud of what we've been doing over the past 2 years. And before that, to be fair, this is building on many of your work predating me, certainly, but absolutely making accessibility a cornerstone, a pillar of Fast Forward. But what probably people weren't expecting was the 4th element. And to me, that is at least of equal importance. And that was that you can only achieve being world class, you can only achieve excellence through the people that you work with. And in order for us to excel, we have to motivate, cherish, develop, and inspire our wonderful people, men and women of New York City Transit out there every day. We've got to give you the tools to do the job. We've got to give you the decent accommodation that maybe you haven't always had, and treat you with the respect that you deserve, and stick up for you, and advocate for you, and and recognize that actually it's a tough gig out there. I started as a station foreman 30 years ago, just last year actually, and I do remember what it's like to be that person on your own. Back in my day, even without a station radio, but wearing a uniform, surrounded by angry customers who are all having a right go at you because you're the person there that has to deal with it, and yet you're the person least able to deal with it. So I've never forgotten that. So to me, having a full quarter of Fast Forward, which absolutely is all about you, in what is a tough environment. You know, New York City is a great city, but people do speak their minds. I know all about that from my little trip into Queens the other night. And I love that, right? I like the fact that you guys tell me how it is. It's not like the British way of sort of, oh, well, yeah, things are going fine, when what you really mean is, no, they're not. Or like, you know, if my dad ever says, well, that was different about one of my mum's dishes, which means I don't like it, but he just doesn't want to say it. You guys come straight out with it. But that does make for a tough gig. And, you know, at times I feel that we get a bad rap, you know, the media, and it's great, by the way, we have media here with us today, sometimes focus on when things go wrong. Sometimes our stakeholders comment on when things go wrong, and we get criticized and you know, held to account, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. You know, I expect to be held to account. But what about when things go right? What about the fact that we move 8 million people a day? What about the fact that most days, most people, customers, aren't delayed? Most days, the machine works. I ride it every day, the subway, the buses. Most days, actually, we do a good job. And what often doesn't get noticed is the sort of heroes out there. I call you my diamonds. The people that we're here to celebrate today. And the wonderful men and women who have demonstrated such heroism and dedication to duty and such passion for customer service. So if sometimes you feel unappreciated, I appreciate you. My executive appreciates you. That's why in Fast Forward, as Pat mentioned, we have launched things like the On the Spot Awards, which is the deliberate, exact 100% juxtaposition of what normally goes on, which is catching people doing things wrong. This is catching people doing things right, on the spot. That was outstanding what you just did. Have this card, come and see the president, and we'll have a little event for you. Because you see it all the time, right? I see it every day, seeing people just going above and beyond. That's why we're doing our Meet the Execs. We don't have the executive does not meet at 2 Broadway. Occasionally we'll go and visit another department here, but we go out to bus depots, we go to the security center, we go to train crew depots, we go to materiel locations, Tiffany and Maspeth. You know, we go out to the field so that we can show appreciation for what you do. I want to do a big shout out for Tony Utano. Tony's the president of Local 100. And Tony's here today with John Shirello, who is his exec vice president for Maintenance Away. John? And quite simply, we couldn't do this without the union. We're working together, Tony and I, on addressing things like staff accommodation. We know that there's suboptimal accommodation out there. We work in nice surroundings. Why shouldn't you? You know, some of it's awful. So what we're doing between Tony and I is we're picking them off. You can't do them all at once. So I said to Tony, let's do the worst 25 first. Then once they're done, restrooms, lunchrooms, all that kind of thing, then we pick off the next 25, and so on until we give you the tools to do the jobs. Just a couple of final points. You know, even this week, or in the last, let's say the last 2 weeks, we've seen examples of New York City Transit at its best, and because of the people. We have, as you know, an ongoing problem right now with one of our train fleets. The R179s had to be withdrawn from service. So overnight, and it was a Herculean task, overnight, our wonderful subways team and the control teams moved the older trains, the R32s and the 42s. It was a miracle to move those trains around, to have them in place for service the next day, so that the AC and the J, we actually only suffered 3 cancellations. It's remarkable. And since then, we've run full service. You know, to be able to do that overnight with no notice, everyone sprang into action. And the second example I would cite is, again, just last week, right? We had the big water main break. What's that this week? God, it seems like... Because it's just, I sometimes liken this job to lying on the beach where every few seconds another tide of stuff comes towards you, right? Suddenly, no notice, this massive water break occurs. To work the beach example a bit more, this big tsunami entered the subway, 500,000 gallons. And under Frank, our COO, Once again, the team sprang into action. You know, that was no notice, but we pulled together as a team. The bus guys put on alternatives. The communications people kept our customers informed. Subways diverted services around, and then in went the heroes, and they checked all the switches, and they checked the motors, the train stop motors, and they cleaned off literally just this disgusting layer of stuff that had come pouring in off the street, and we had the service back by the evening peak. That's New York City Transit at its best. That's the kind of thing that you epitomize today, and I'm proud to be your president. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And I just have to add that when Andy says that, he really means it. He signs, even for years of service awards, because this is great. Anyone who's reached a milestone, he personally signs the certificate for them. So, I mean, that says a lot. It works out to hundreds and hundreds of employees at times, but to get something signed by the president, and he makes phone calls. So thank you, Andy, for what you do here. Okay, at this time, we have several department heads who want to give their congratulations to the medalist. I'm going to start with Craig Cipriano, our acting Senior VP of Buses. Thanks.
Thank you for having me here today. So, you know, most of our time and efforts are really spent working hard on improving bus, paratransit, and subway service. But as you know, we're making great strides in all those three areas. But what makes our jobs truly rewarding is that we do this and we impact the daily lives of the 8 million people each and every day. And while we usually think about our job in terms of the enormity and complexity in running buses and subways, paratransit, we think about it in terms of maybe cars and buses, it's really about the people. And that's why we're here today. And that's why we prioritize people as one of our pillars, as Andy just said, in our Fast Forward plan. So we're here today to honor the hardworking men and women of New York City Transit and MTA Bus. And they are among the hardest working people, public servants, throughout the city. We face incredible challenges on a daily basis that require quick thinking, judicious decision-making, and courage. And I want to send a special shout out to the bus employees here in the room who serve our 2 million customers each and every day across our 54,000 bus trips. I want to thank you. One of the true rewards of this job is getting a chance to see our employees recognized for their outstanding performance. This year, 34 nominees for the Medals of Excellence went above and beyond their duties in the efforts to help our customers, their colleagues, and the city. To echo Andy's words just now, the inspiring acts of bravery and kindness make our transit network better, the city better, and a safer place. 5 nominees stand out for their remarkable career at buses specifically. They have made an immeasurable contribution to our organization over their combined 200 years of experience. In fact, many of them today in the room, namely Billy, I don't know if Tony's here, maybe Nick, might remember me from years ago when I actually had hair. All these nominees have gone above and beyond and have proven their exemplary examples of the safety, leadership, and teamwork, have worked daily to improve the lives of our customers, and I cannot be happier to see them here being honored today. I would also like to personally thank bus operators Adams, Beckford, and Hampton, who on separate occasions helped bring missing children safely to their families. So 2019 was an exciting year for buses. The success of the 14th Street Busway, transit signal priority intersections, deployment of automated bus lane enforcement systems, delivery of new electric buses, and our borough-by-borough redesign efforts. But none of these achievements would be possible without the men and women of buses. Thank you for your outstanding commitment to safety, customer service, and your willingness to go the extra mile. To all the nominees in here today, you are an inspiration to us all, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Craig. At this time, I'm going to call Bobby Deal. Bobby is the Senior VP of Security and Safety.
Okay, thank you and good morning to everybody. You know, I really stand here honored and humbled about some of the stories that I read, especially for the nominees who are getting awards today. I especially, it's heartfelt for me, for people from Department of Security, my 4 guys, Joe, Chris, Carlos, and Big Al, who actually intervened on someone who was being sexually abused. And I salute you for that. You know, a lot of things in life is based on your experiences. And I'd like to relate one thing to you, which I think will put things into perspective. You know, and is Denol Jenkins here by any chance? Denol? All right, I don't know if, I guess he couldn't make it today. So it's Easter morning, okay, last year, 2019, and I get a phone call that we have an employee who's been stabbed. My initial question is, okay, how bad is he? And they tell me he's stabbed multiple times. Fine. I drive up to the Bronx, the boogie down, all right, get there, and I find this remarkable young man on a gurney in the emergency room who is stabbed multiple times. And when I tell you calm, cool, and collective, it was remarkable. And it really put things into perspective for me, especially being on Easter Sunday. You know, here is a guy basically just sitting, trying to do his job, gets attacked, holds the guy, and then realizes that he's stabbed. But you know what was amazing? His comment to me was, hey, can I get out of here? Amazing. And then to bring in his compassion for the person who assaulted him. You know, I went home. I had some story to tell my family, you know, at the end of the day. But I think that puts into perspective transit workers, what you do. You rise to the occasion. You go above and beyond what is not just expected, but doing the right thing. And I can only say thank you. Thank you for me. Thank you for my family that lives in Queens to be able to let us get to work and get to do what we want to do. And above all, thank you for the service that you do. All right? Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Bobby. That story stood out to me also because I remember one of the comments that he made was, I was just doing my job. Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask Sally Librera. Sally's the Senior VP of Subways, to say a few words.
Good morning. I love this event. I look forward to it every year. I'm so excited to be here this morning. It's an honor to celebrate these accomplishments today because they really are, you know, true acts of dedicated customer service, heroism, selflessness, courage, and it's just so much fun to be here today. So, you know, like most of you, over the course of a day, a lot of information comes at me. I wish I was able to absorb a little bit more of it. Sometimes it takes it sort of coming back around and smacking me in the face to truly capture it. But these stories are different, right? These stories stick, right? When we learn about the things that you all have done and the things that we're celebrating here today, not just the things that happen each and every day, which are incredible in and of themselves among the entire workforce, but these amazing acts that we are here to celebrate today, and these amazing careers of dedicated service that we're here to celebrate today, they stick. They stick for me. They stick in my memory, but they stick in a deeper way because I think about them and I think about how I can be a better version of myself. Right? I think about how I can maybe handle a situation differently. I think about how I can maybe keep my eyes open a little bit wider as I'm walking through a situation and maybe trying to figure out who needs an extra hand or something I might be able to do to help somebody who's really in need. And I don't think I'm alone. I think it's probably true for all of us here that when we hear your stories and people well beyond this room who hear your stories, who turn that inspiration into action. And I think in that way, the accomplishments that we're here to celebrate today are amazing and wonderful, but the ripple effects of what you've done in terms of motivating and energizing people to all be better versions of themselves, I think it's actually making the world a kinder place. So I don't think it can be understated the impact of your actions and the impact of your service. So it's a true honor to be here today with you, and it's an honor to thank you for what you do every day and to thank you for these tremendous accomplishments on behalf of the 30,000 dedicated men and women on the Subways team. So congratulations.
Sally, thank you for those heartfelt words. At this time, I'm going to ask Deb Prado. Deb is the Senior VP of People and Business Transformation.
Good morning. I'm relatively new, and when I look around the room in terms of tenure here, I've been here about 18 months. But I recognize that Medals of Excellence is one of our long-standing, enduring recognition programs. And what's so amazing about that is our well never runs dry. Each year, we have a continuation of numerous employees who are performing heroic, dedicated, commendable acts. Today, we showcase the tenacity, the commitment, the quick thinking, compassionate spirit of New York City Transit and MTA bus employees. The ability to go beyond yourself, the ability to react, to help, is truly commendable. Day to day, we're in the business of public service, customer service, and today that highlights the spirit of service to others. You're agents of change. You've touched a life. You've made it better here. That's contagious. I'm proud to call each and every one of you colleagues. I'm proud to be part of such a great team here at New York City Transit, and congratulations for a job well done.
Thank you, Deb. Very well said. And may the well never run dry, okay? All right, at this time, I'm going to ask Tony Utano, president of TWU, to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Again, congratulations to all the honorees. I have a couple of stories. First of all, Andy, thank you for what you do. We work fine together. Andy's the first president. Again, I've been here 40 years. So I know I've seen many presidents come and go, but I know Andy has the best interest of the employees, and that's why me and him are able to work together. Although the contract was a little brutal, but, you know. But, so, you know, there's a lot of things that go on in the transit system, and our members and our employees and transit workers, when something goes on, they just take care of the problem, and it's really not even reported in many times. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on that transit employees help. The same transit employees that get assaulted wouldn't hesitate to help that person if he was in need. A transit worker who got assaulted would not hesitate to jump on a track and save somebody. You know, we are unique, okay? We are very, very unique because we move people back and forth safely. We take care of their safety. If there's a fire around, we put the fires out. It's like we're fire, police. We're all combined into one thing. It's kind of, when you come into this company, it's like in your DNA to do these things, to help people. You know, I'll tell you a story. On 9/11, when the towers went down, 3,000 transit workers just went there, not thinking about anything. And today, they're getting sick. And I asked them, if you had to do it again, would you do it? And they said, absolutely 100%. That's what transit workers do. And I'm glad the media is here, because the media should, instead of putting the bad stories out there, should put the good stories. And I try to put all the good stories. When I get a good story, I put it out. I'll call the media, and the media will say, what do you think? I says, what do I think? I think that's what transit workers do. That's just what we do. So I want to congratulate everybody here. I want to thank you for what you do. I guess we're going to have like a few hundred people because of the flood. You said somebody said they were all heroes, so they'll be here tomorrow for the next year for the Hero Award. But thousands. Anyhow, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. Very well said. And I agree, helping people, definitely in our employees' DNA. I like that. All right, so now we are going to have the spotlight on the medalists and the presentation of the medals. We're doing it a little different this year. We have a couple of our executive senior leadership team members here to help us distribute the medals. We're going to start with commendation, and that's going to be presented by David Farber, our general counsel. We'll then go on to Kim Moore Ward, EVP Labor Relations, will present the Distinguished Awards. And lastly, Joel Andrews, VP of EEO and Diversity, will present the Heroism Awards. So David, can you please come up?
Good morning. Before I start, just want to say a couple of quick things. First, Deb is a veteran compared to me. I've been here 14 months. You see, I'm still counting in months. And I have to say, I've been so impressed with the dozens of people I've had the opportunity to work with so far. Also, I want to say I've worked at 8 organizations before this one, and I've never worked at a place that has appreciated, recognized, and honored its employees as the way we do here. So now to begin, where's my criteria? I'm supposed to have a criteria. Okay. So, I got it. Okay. Sorry. So the Commendation Awards is for job-related acts involving personal risk or requiring exceptionally good judgment. Edwin Adams. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgot. Okay, we're going to begin with a video. That's right. Almost begin with a video. So, this is my first try here. So, okay.
On October 25th, on the PM tour, Albus and Stanley were working on an AFC Network Communications trouble call at the 67th Avenue station when a customer approached them and told them that someone was on the track. Both employees went to investigate and found an unresponsive man lying on the center of the track. Albus quickly ran to the booth and had the station agent immediately notify RCC and 911. Stanley proceeded to the end of the platform with his flashlight, giving the stop signal to any oncoming train. Albus then went back to where Stanley was, took the flashlight, and went to the very end of the platform, giving the stop signal. Stanley returned to the location of the man on the tracks, who was now up and trying to stand, but he was weak and almost fell on a third rail. Stanley then pulled the man up off the track with the help of the customer who reported the incident. They then helped the man to the bench on the platform.
On Monday, July 29, 2019, while operating a southbound G train into Fulton Street Station at 37 miles per hour, train operator Eric Boyo, a 27-year transit veteran, spotted a customer on the platform waving their hands, alerting him to a woman on the tracks who had apparently attempted to take her own life. Train operator Boyo not only slowed and stopped the train in time to prevent a tragedy, but he used his instinct and training to exit the car and calmly coax the woman back to safety. His quick thinking and actions saved the life of a customer on the tracks. His actions were praised by MTA Chairman Pat Foy, President Byford, and witnesses. Asked if he considered himself a hero, Boyo humbly responded, "I'm just doing my job. This is what I do."
On Saturday, February 2nd, 2019, at approximately 4:42 a.m., bus operator Krister Beckford observed and rendered aid to an unattended 2-year-old child walking in the dimly lit College Point shorefront park adjacent to the Flushing Bay. Bus operator Beckford was working a tour waiting to make his next scheduled trip on the Q25 when he noticed a 2-year-old child by himself, only wearing pajamas on an extremely frigid night in February. The child was obviously cold and shivering. Mr. Beckford immediately brought the child into his bus, seating the 2-year-old and covering him with his own bus operator jacket. He then contacted bus's command center for assistance and waited for an emergency response. The unattended 2-year-old child was then taken to an area hospital. Mr. Beckford's keen and quick actions prevented tragic outcomes for the child.
On the evening of Thursday, December 12th, Regina was on her way home and traveling on the B train. A man was sitting next to her and grabbed her arm. As the train was coming over the Manhattan Bridge, the man's grip on her arm became tighter and he proceeded to fall. Regina immediately recognized that the man was having a seizure and called for other passengers to help her. One of the passengers was about to activate the emergency brake system, but she quickly told him not to do that because that would only delay any medical assistance they could get. When the train pulled into DeKalb, she asked passengers to hold the doors. She ran into the car the conductor was and told them a passenger was having a seizure and was in urgent need of medical attention and to contact the police. She then ran back to the car the man was in and stayed with him until medical assistance arrived. She provided them with information based on his documents. The man was stabilized and safely transported off the train and to a hospital.
On Wednesday, August 7th, 2019, train operator Larry Moreno saw signal maintainer Anthony Menino flagging his train to stop. His train was about 1 car from entering the station. Train operator Moreno quickly activated his train brakes and was able to stop the train approximately 2 feet in front of the customer. While Menino stayed with the woman on the tracks and calmly helped her onto the platform, Larry Moreno notified the Rail Control Center, which called police for response and awaited further information from the dispatcher before proceeding. The quick-thinking professional skills of Larry Moreno not only prevented an accident, but limited the impact to service for hundreds of customers that morning. President Byford was equally thrilled with Moreno and said, "Larry did a great job under incredibly stressful circumstances, and I am immensely proud of him."
On April 4th, 2019, train operator Hopeton Kiffin said a passenger on the platform frantically flagged him down as his train entered the station and pointed out a boy standing between the tracks on the local N Express. Kiffin stopped the train abruptly and started to do what he could to help. Kiffin said, "The first thing I tried to do was establish verbal communication with him, but he wasn't responding as I wanted. So I just coached him along, like holding his forearm to see if that would work. When I did that, he came with me." Train operator Kiffin then headed to the next stop at Borough Hall, where police were waiting. He says life experiences and fatherhood taught him to remain calm, especially when guiding the 12-year-old over the electrified third rail. The driving force why I responded to him was to make sure he was all right, make sure he didn't encounter the third rail. The boy's mother was thankful to everyone who helped pull him to safety and owes a debt of gratitude to train operator Kiffin for his quick thinking in saving her son's life.
On Wednesday, June 26, 2019, at 3:23 a.m., bus operator Edwin Adams observed a 3-year-old child on West 37th Street wandering on the sidewalk between Mermaid Avenue and Neptune Avenue. Mr. Adams stopped his bus and knocked on the front door of the house where he found the child, but no one answered. Mr. Adams took the child on the bus and called the bus's command center for assistance. Soon thereafter, police and the New York City Transit Supervision responded, and police took the child in custody. Due to the quick thinking and alert actions of Mr. Adams, the child was returned safely to his parents.
On the afternoon of January 25, 2019, Deputy Superintendent Safraz Khan received a call from General Superintendent Pradeep Kumar indicating that he couldn't breathe. At the time, Khan grabbed the radio and instructed associates to call 911. Khan then immediately left for Kumar's office. When Mr. Khan arrived at Kumar's office, he was sitting in his chair, slumped with his right hand covering his face. Khan started asking him questions. He noticed that his speech was slurred and his face was drooping. Dealing with a stroke victim before, he remembered FAST: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911. Khan radioed back to the car desk supervisor to let him know that Kumar was having a stroke. Mr. Khan noticed his personal phone on his desk. Mr. Khan told Mr. Kumar, jokingly, "I need someone to contact because you would write me up otherwise for not following procedures." EMS then arrived and took Kumar to the hospital where he was treated.
On September 16, 2019, at approximately 5 p.m., Mr. Fields was working with his coworker, Luis Gomez, assigned to the shuttle at Grand Central Station. Mr. Fields observed Mr. Gomez approach a male customer that appeared to be distraught. He informed the customer that the next train was arriving on the 4 track. The customer proceeded to track number 1 and stood at the edge of the platform. Mr. Gomez followed him and asked if he was okay, but the customer did not reply. He continued to ask the customer questions. The customer just stared down at the track. As the train approached, the customer inched closer to the edge. Suddenly, the customer leaned forward to jump. Mr. Gomez immediately reached for him, and Mr. Fields, who was standing behind the customer, wrapped him in a bear hug and pulled him away from the approaching train. They stayed with him until police and EMS arrived.
On Wednesday, March 13th, 2019, Eagle Team SIs Carlos Sosa, Christopher Pagari, Joseph DiLorenzo, and their supervisor, SIS Albert Williams, were conducting fare evasion enforcement on the SBS B82 line, located at Kings Highway and Nostrand Avenue. At that time, a female, 16 years of age, exited through the front door of the SBS B82 bus crying hysterically and informed Special Inspector Sosa that a male on the bus had groped her several times. SIs Sosa, Pagari, DiLorenzo, and SIS Williams entered the bus with the young lady, and she identified the male who had groped her. SI Sosa identified himself to the male and asked him to exit the bus. A 911 call was placed requesting the police to respond. Officers responded to the location, and a 38-year-old male was placed under arrest by the police.
On Friday afternoon, November 1st, 2019, Tyrone Hampton, a bus operator, found a nonverbal 10-year-old boy who slipped out of a Washington Heights health clinic. The child was reported missing at about 2 p.m. from the pediatric clinic on Audubon Avenue near West 166th Street in Upper Manhattan. Somehow, he got onto an MTA bus and rode around to Amsterdam Avenue and West 109th Street on the Upper West Side. Bus operator Tyrone Hampton, using great judgment, realized that this was an unusual occurrence on his bus and that the young boy needed help and was unaware of his surroundings. He became very concerned for the boy and decided to call 911. The boy was unharmed and was later reunited with his parents.
I'm back. So these stories are truly inspiring, and I'm so honored to have the opportunity to give these commendations. Okay, Krister Beckford. Eric Boyo. Regina Davidova. Albus Nunez. Stanley Andre. Luis Gomez. Tyrone Hampton. Safraz Khan. Hopeton Kiffin. Larry Moreno. Joseph DiLorenzo. Christopher Pagari. Carlos Sosa. Albert Williams. David Fields. Congratulations, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, David. So at this time, I'm going to ask Kim Moore Ward to please present the awards for distinguished service. But we're going to have the video first, Ron? Right? Got it. Okay. All right, give us a minute.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here to present Distinguished Service Award. This is for employees who have demonstrated outstanding efficiency that reflects the higher standards and ideals of a dedicated public employee. It also should be noted that these are long-term employees who have been here at least 15 years. So please turn your attention to the video.
Amar Wiggins was hired as a CTA in March of 1999. He is a car cleaner at the South Ferry Terminal. He consistently performs his job at a high level. He performs well whether it's cleaning the trains, reorganizing the storage room, handling a messenger duty, removing snow, and anything needed to be done urgently. Amar is reliable, trustworthy, and complies with safety rules and operational directives. He is very pleasant and excels at customer service. His attendance has either met or exceeds the standards of our division. For these reasons, we recommend Amar Wiggins with the pleasure for a Distinguished Service Award.
Tony Ventimiglia is the face of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority in a massive, car-centric borough with no spaghetti bowl subway lines. The former bus driver has been a dispatcher in Eltingville since 1998, when his office was an express bus. In 2004, the actual facility opened, and Ventimiglia has been manning it from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. ever since. It's a world of timetables and traffic jams and people. The 64-year-old started with the MTA as a bus driver in 1979, then became a dispatcher 5 years later. I've always had that mantra, you see something, you try to do something. You try to be the captain of the ship, he said. He also helps people who leave personal items behind and listen to complaints. I'm not just the guy who stands there and writes bus numbers down, Ventimiglia said. His contribution to Staten Island commuters is more than keeping buses flowing. Ventimiglia tries to help the homeless to get to a destination too, by calling homeless service nonprofits to do the right thing for them. For over 40 years, Tony has been a dedicated employee to MTA New York City Transit. Ergo, his nomination for the Distinguished Service Award.
Myra Troncoso demonstrates an extraordinary commitment in providing customer service to the public. Mrs. Troncoso is a terminal car cleaning CTA reporting to 34th Street and Hudson Terminal. It is often witnessed Mrs. Troncoso providing customers with information, directions, and responding to inquiries. Her pleasantry is an inspiration to watch. Not only has Mrs. Troncoso exemplified NYCT mission in providing clean subway cars for our customers, but she has that warm, friendly, smiling face that makes a difference in a customer's day at a busy subway terminal. She has been with the agency for 19 years and represents the core values of one of our important goals, which is to provide customer service to all.
Through his tireless efforts to pull together workable plans year-round and to provide access to the tracks for maintainers and contractors while ensuring adequate transit service for millions of daily subway riders, Josh exemplifies the best of operations planning and, indeed, the best of New York City Transit. Couple this with an encyclopedic knowledge of the subway system, its operating practices, capacities, even its quirks, and a keen attentiveness to the needs of the traveling public. There is no single event or occasion that reflects Josh's exemplary professionalism. Instead, it's an accumulation of efforts and initiatives too numerous to mention. His body of work has benefited all New York subway riders. Josh has performed his numerous responsibilities over the past 19 years with quiet professionalism and good humor, and is truly a linchpin in New York City Transit's ambitious plans for the capital program and for maintaining the railroad.
Mr. Ortega is tasked with overseeing the production of efficient and economical bus operator schedules for every depot and every route in the Bronx and Manhattan. Mr. Ortega is a veteran of the New York City Transit Bus Schedules Unit since 1987. He began his career at New York City Transit as an administrative associate, and he worked his way to deputy director. Frankie has always been the one to run towards a problem to find a solution, an invaluable characteristic of a natural leader. Mr. Ortega is well known and respected throughout the Bronx and Manhattan divisions, as well as other departments. He is the guiding force behind the budgeting and creation of all schedules for the Bronx network redesign. His knowledge of the borough and intricacies of all routes, while focusing on the cost, was an invaluable to the process. Everyone from the Department of Buses, CTO depot personnel, and union management knows and respect his opinion and advice. His ability to motivate, train, and organize others is respected and sought out by his peers. He is currently mentoring several employees with the intent to pass his knowledge on to them before his retirement. We are happy to bestow a Distinguished Service Award to Mr. Frank Ortega.
Mr. Nicholas Mofigan has shown dedication to the authority in more ways than one. Nicholas has an unblemished record of 38 years with MTA. When you ask his coworkers their opinion of him, here are the responses you will receive. 1, he has the best attitude and he is positive about everything. 2, he enjoys his job and loves working with others. 3, Mr. Mofigan always has an ear to listen to everyone and gives great advice. 4, he takes the time to explain and share helpful information. 5, he is very supportive of his staff. 6, he never complains, and when you encounter him, you see that pleasant smile that is a constant on his face. 7, he knows how to mitigate unpleasant experiences with his staff and to communicate effectively without embarrassing anyone or disrespecting anyone to avoid future unpleasant experiences. Because of his 38 years in dedicated service, along with his team-playing attitude, we are happy and honored to give Nicholas a Medal of Excellence for his distinguished service.
Nizam Muhammad has been a New York City Transit employee for the past 28 years. Mr. Muhammad is affectionately known as Mo. Mo started with New York City Transit as a turnstile maintainer in September 1991. As we transitioned from the mechanical turnstiles to the AFC electronic turnstiles, the existing group of turnstile maintainers were sent to a 6-month electronics training class to become revenue equipment maintainers. Mo graduated in July 1995 and quickly became one of the leading technicians in the department, becoming a member of an elite group of REMs that were assigned the most difficult repairs. Always willing to share his knowledge, he became a lead trainer, teaching others the skills he has developed over the years. In December 2001, Mr. Muhammad was promoted to MS1, where his leadership and task-driven assignment skills excelled. Since July 2013, Mr. Muhammad has been a Level 2 supervisor within the AFC department. Whatever job he is assigned to is monitored diligently and completed to the utmost of highest standards. Mo takes his responsibilities seriously and expects the most of himself, as well as making those around him better. Mr. Muhammad has been and continues to be a tremendous asset to the AFC maintenance operations in Brooklyn, and it's our honor to nominate him for the Distinguished Service Medals of Excellence Award, aptly abbreviated MOE.
Sandra McNeil was hired as a CTA in May of 1988. At present, and for the most of those years, she's worked at Pelham Bay Park Terminal. She has been an outstanding employee. With 369 sick days left out of 383 days given, it is no doubt that her attendance, conduct, job performance, and customer service skills are exceptional. Her passion for her work, strong work ethic, can-do attitude, and positive attitude are admirable. Even though many times we are understaffed, she consistently goes above and beyond to make sure that all her cars are clean before they leave the station. She is always quick to make her supervisor aware of any safety and quality of life issues that may affect the work location, and is also highly respected by her peers. Because of her conduct and job performance, her colleagues consider her to be a role model. It is with great pride that we nominate Sandra for a Distinguished Service Award.
Mr. John McAvoy demonstrates an astonishing commitment to his role. John takes it upon himself to provide exceptional support and service to staff and management. He discerns quickly their individual needs and moves efficiently to provide key information, recommendations, or direction. He is a huge asset to our department and is currently the line supervisor at Yonkers Depot. He has been employed with the agency since 1987. It is a rarity to find an employee like John, who has been with New York City Transit for over 32 years. John's knowledge of the day-to-day operations is exceptional. John also loves to share his knowledge with any employee who will listen and who is willing to learn from him. No one ever speaks negative of John. John is appreciated by all his colleagues for his intellect and his efficiency as he executes his responsibilities.
James Lamort is a talented employee who always wants to help. His commitment to his work is noticeable. Mr. Lamort has worked tirelessly in the aftermath of the September 11th disaster. He was part of the emergency response team working very hard to get the trains back in service within 3 days. With all the emotional and hazardous conditions, he restored power and service back on almost all the train lines downtown. In addition, he has also worked on keeping service intact during Superstorm Sandy. Mr. Lamort was on the front line and took action to clean up the old South Ferry area and was able to get trains running again. He was also very involved in the Public Service Commission initiative for the Fast Track project, an initiative headed by the governor's office. His involvement as GSM at the Fulton Center keeps that center running with minimum problems. Mr. Lamort has been with New York City Transit for over 30 years and deserves a resounding applause for his dedicated service.
Mr. Patrick Healy is a second-generation decorated veteran transit worker with 6 commendations who will be celebrating his 40th year of service on March 3rd, 2020. During the morning rush hour time is critical, and as many as 3 buses every minute are assigned to the 5 a.m. hour. Patrick possesses an outstanding ability to get things done by resolving problems immediately before they can result in an operator pulling out or arriving to the bus terminal late. Whether it's clearing a track, resolving a minor farebox malfunction, assisting an operator with a pre-tip inspection, or securing a loose compartment, Patrick is always ready at a moment's notice to resolve a problem. Patrick is an efficient worker who fuels buses immediately and who is ultimately responsible for the safe and on-time departure to a large majority of our AM service. Patrick is a tremendous asset to this organization whose dedicated exemplary service should undoubtedly be worthy of the President's Distinguished Service Award.
Cielito Evangelista is acting manager of the Revenue Accountability Unit. Cielito continues to demonstrate outstanding efficiency that reflects the highest standards and ideals of a dedicated public employee. Cielito is productive with an excellent leadership qualities. She takes the time to write procedural manuals describing all aspects of every job function performed by the Revenue Accountability Unit. She has also cross-trained her staff so that the staff understands every role. Cielito works tirelessly with her staff to ensure our monthly statements are issued correctly and on time. She's not afraid to roll up her sleeves to pitch in whenever or wherever she's needed. She also volunteers consistently in the timekeeping department. Cielito manages difficult situations with ease. She is hardworking, has a strong work ethic, and is equitable to all. Her non-judgmental attitude, understanding spirit, easy to talk to, kind heart, and encourages teamwork in the unit to accomplish excellence. Cielito, 19 years with New York City Transit, has been an asset to this agency.
Ray Favis demonstrates an extraordinary commitment to New York City Transit and his team for over 30 years. Ray has performed in various aspects of field construction and office administration. He has shown diligence in the coordination of multi-contractor general order executions, many times up to 10 contractors at the same time. His efficient control and management style aided to finish the planned work at the Steinway Tube on time and safely. Currently, he is the resident engineer for the new underground Maspeth Avenue substation. He has to coordinate with multiple city agencies, which include DOT, DPR, Brooklyn Community Board Number 1, and adjacent property owners. This project is currently ahead of schedule due to Ray's coordination. He is knowledgeable and willing to go the extra mile and consistently demonstrates all those qualities and more. Ray can always be called upon for his expert opinion, assisting field engineers on several contracts. For over 30 years, Ray has always had the best interest of New York City Transit in mind and works diligently with all contractors and other New York City Transit divisions performing his duties.
Stephen D. Martini's continued excellence and commitment to Staten Island Railway's customers has spanned over 30 years. He has demonstrated ideals of a dedicated public employee whose leadership and professionalism have become benchmarks for all employees. Stephen's title of lead carman confirms his willingness to accept responsibility for fellow crew members and deliver a quality product to Staten Island Railway's passengers daily. He can often be found mentoring junior employees and providing insight on correct procedures for maintenance on subway cars. Stephen's initiative can be seen on full display when Staten Island Railway is preparing for the cold weather operation months. Stephen is often at the forefront, ensuring subway cars are properly winterized for the inclement weather. Because of his due diligence and hard work, maintenance costs and manpower hours are reduced. Stephen has dedicated his professional career to the public sector. He demonstrates and exemplifies strong character and a work ethic necessary for the success of Staten Island Railway.
Mr. Coyle is an MTA bus employee that started his job in 1977. He started his career as a bus operator and worked his way up the ranks to general superintendent. In his 42 years, he has not let up on his diamond work ethic. He is a teacher, he is a mentor, and he is a highly valued team member. In his work in road operations, he has worked to improve customer bus journeys by focusing on safety and schedule. His focus on this has improved service for the customers in Queens. He has done schedule changes in the most efficient and effective manner to avoid interruptions in service. In addition, because of his knowledge in the area of scheduling, William has been asked to help in the Queens Fast Forward bus redesign. Mr. Coyle has worked snowstorms for more than 24 hours straight until service was properly restored. He also has acted as Assistant General Manager until this position was permanently filled. Thank you for your service.
And the honorees are William Coyle, Stephen DiMartini, I'm trying to get the timing right here, Cielito Evangelista, Ray Favis, Patrick Healy, James Lamort, John McAvoy. Do we have two? We have two John McAvoys? Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, well, you both will take the picture over there. I'm not sure which one is Mr. McAvoy's. Right. Congratulations, Mr. McAvoy's. Sandra McNeil. Nizam Mohammed. Nicholas Morfogen, I'm sorry. Frankie Ortega. Joshua Rosenberg. Good. Myra Troncoso. Anthony Ventimiglia. And last but certainly not least, Amar Wiggins.
Okay. That's it. I'm going to ask Joel Andrews, VP of EEO and Diversity, to present the last set of awards, and that's for heroism. He will read the description, and then we'll go through the videos. Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of the EEO and Diversity team, we'd like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to this morning's honorees. Next, we will recognize 3 outstanding colleagues for extraordinary acts of heroism. As Patricia mentioned a moment ago, the Heroism Award recognizes employees who perform specific acts of bravery on or off duty in the face of extremely dangerous circumstances that easily could have resulted in personal injury or even death. So now if you would direct your attention to the screens, we'll have a presentation on this morning's honorees.
On Easter Sunday, April 21st, Conductor Donald Jenkins was waiting for the southbound number 6 train at the 149th Street Grand Concourse station when a crazed man attacked him. The person made a lewd comment to Jenkins before hitting him in the head with a right hook. During the fight, the attacker repeatedly stabbed Jenkins with a knife. Jenkins said, "I didn't know he had a knife until I got up, and the police arrested him. I was walking away and my fellow co-workers came to me saying, 'You're bleeding.' His neck was stabbed and the side of his abdomen was also stabbed. The knife missed his spleen by 1 millimeter, but all his organs were okay. His attacker was taken to Bronx Care Health System for psychiatric evaluation." Jenkins told reporters about his attacker. "He really needs help. He needs rehabilitation. This is a psychological mental issue that needs to be addressed. I hope his family supports him."
On Wednesday, August 7, 2019, MTA worker Anthony Menino went from signal maintainer to hero. Menino was on a job near the Newkirk Plaza Q station around 10:30 a.m. when he saw strap hangers yelling about a person being on the tracks, just as the train was pulling into the station. Menino said, "At that point, I looked over and I saw a woman in the middle of the roadbed. I'm thinking, there's no way the train operator is going to see this woman, especially on that curve coming into the station." Menino jumped onto the tracks and flagged the train operator to stop the train about 3 feet away from hitting the woman. Menino pulled the woman aside afterwards and explained the seriousness of her actions. Menino insisted on taking the customer to the hospital, but she refused. After walking with her for about 3 blocks, she took off swiftly. This is another example of the caliber, bravery, and passion of New York City Transit frontline workers, Byford told the Post. He also said, "Anthony did a great job under incredible stressful circumstances, and I am immensely proud of him."
On May 5th, 2019, at the 14th and 1st Avenue L line station, officers in our system observed a suspicious individual stepping off the last car of an L train, and they decided to engage him in light conversation until he could be walked to an area where other officers were posted. When they realized their suspicions were correct, they decided to place the suspect under arrest. The suspect resisted and a fight ensued. During the fight, MTA conductor Ian McKay assisted the police officers in holding the suspect so that officers could cuff him and place him under arrest without an incident to them or anyone. Per the police report, without the quick thinking and help of Mr. Ian McKay, this incident could have resulted in grave injury to himself, an officer, customers, and/or the escape of the suspect. Mr. Ian McKay put himself in a precarious position, which could have caused casualty to himself or the officers.
And now we present the awards to Donal Jenkins. Did Donal make it? I don't think Donal is here. We'll make sure that the certificate and award is received by Donal. Anthony Menino. And our last recipient awardee is Ewan McKay.
Okay, Ron? Ron Liebert is now going to give a couple of testimonials with some of the medalists. All yours.
All right. So we have two microphones here. Lily Kay and I are going to be asking some questions of some of the. Can you hear me guys? Okay.
Yep, now mine's on. Testing.
Okay. All right. This is much better. A good transit moment. All right. Savras Khan. All right. This young man received a commendation award today. And we know about your situation with your boss. Were you nervous when you were helping your boss?
At the moment, I was not nervous. I just know I had to take control of the situation.
Very good. Was this the first time you experienced a stroke victim?
I would like to say yes, but it was not. We had another employee, an hourly employee, that actually walked in having a stroke while punching in his time card.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. All right, Cielito, I see you here. You're smiling. And you received today a Distinguished Service Award. Tell us a little bit about your years here at New York City Transit.
I'm here for 19 years.
Oh, wow. Tell me, what is the most rewarding experience here at New York City Transit?
Well, definitely this is one of them. being recognized and given the prestigious award, you know, is one of the most rewarding experiences. And we were short-staffed in 2018 because our manager retired, and we were short-staffed. And management says, freeze, right? No freeze, no addition to the unit. So we were able to pull through with the help of my teammates. You know, we were able to do what we have to do.
Good job, good job. Lily Kay, I know you have two individuals that you're going to ask questions.
Krister Beckford. Is there a Mr. Oh, there you are. Okay, so Krister Beckford, you're one of the finders of lost children. I just want to know, how horrified were you when you saw that 2-year-old?
I was frightened. I was frightened, and I was kind of hectic because I don't know if I was if there was someone going to set me up or nothing. when I see the baby, because I don't expect to see a little baby like that outside in the park. So I look all around, peep through the door to see if anyone outside, and then I open the door and grab the baby and bring him in.
That's amazing. Also, I know that it's a 2-year-old boy child, so could he speak? And if he did or didn't, how were you able to coax him inside and make him feel safe?
Well, I tried to talk to him, but I think he was like Spanish, so he didn't really understand what I'm saying. So he was just standing up outside shaking and crying. So I just opened the door, pick him up, put him in the bus, and turn the heat on, and take my jacket and wrap him up.
That is a very marvelous thing you did. I hope the parents get Holga comfortable. Ian McKay, I know you're over there. Ian, give me a second. I got to get over to you.
Ewan.
I renamed you. I'm so sorry. Ewan, okay, so I remember what you did. You helped police officers detain a suspect. Now, what's often said about heroes and people who commit brave acts is that they have someone in mind, like a loved one, that they think, I wouldn't want this thing to happen to them. Can you tell me, is that true in your case?
Yes, definitely. My daughter is a police officer.
Tell us more about her.
Oh yeah, she was a correction officer up here, and she moved to Atlanta and became a police officer down there. So if she was in need, I would want someone to help her.
That's wonderful. So everybody, Ewan McKay helped the police detain a suspect. Now, the other thing I wondered is, typically people see people in authority like police officers as not needing help. What was it that told you that I can help those individuals who are trained to do this?
Well, they was really having a hard time with him, struggling, and it was happening right next to me. So once I turned around and realized what was happening, I just had to help them.
Excellent. Thank you. Back to you, Liebert. Back to you, Liebert.
All right. We're going to ask Regina to tell us. So, Regina, you're riding the subway, and all of a sudden you feel someone grab your hand. What were your first thoughts?
I initially felt frightened. It's not every day that someone grabs me on the subway. Every day I ride it, so this was a first for me. That emotion only lasted about a couple of seconds. I realized really quickly it was just a cry for help, and that was his way of alerting me. That's all his motion meant, so I just had to help him.
That was such quick thinking, and I know that Sally and Andy and everyone would agree. You had quick thinking when you decided not to stop the train. You told everyone, do not pull that train, because, you know, that's where we really...
Definitely put them to the test, and I commanded everyone around me to kind of, comply, and, I did what had to be done, what I really felt. I used my judgment, what I felt had to be done, and everybody complied, and, the guy's okay now, so that's all that matters.
This is one of our future transit leaders, guys. She is an intern, and she had...
I'm a postgraduate intern, and...
Congratulations, good thinking.
For a little over a year now, so I'm here for a little bit over a year now, and I remember last year I was helping make the phone calls to the medalists. Little did I know
that you would be a medalist.
Yeah, a year later, so.
Congratulations. It's Tony Menino. Tony, tell us a little bit about your experience. You jumped onto the tracks, my friend.
Yes. Yeah, it was interesting that day. First, I want to just give a shout out to Larry Marino. Without him, I wouldn't even be here today. So yeah, it happened so fast. I didn't have really much time to react. I just had to rush on the tracks. I knew that there was a slight curve coming into the station. I had to get out to Larry as fast as I can. And she was just disoriented. She was just sitting in the roadbed, just waiting for the train to hit her. And I just knew I had to get out there as quick as I can. And you just got blinders on. You just react. And I just had to react as fast as I can. And it's a great feeling knowing that you saved somebody's life like that. And I think God was with her that day too. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time and did what I had to do. Thank you.
Good. I know you actually tried to help her, encourage her to go and get help, and she refused, right?
Yeah, and then like when when Larry stopped the train, I knew how to get her off the roadbed. She could have electrocuted herself. She could have got hurt on the roadbed. So I knew I had to get out there as fast as I can. So I got on the roadbed, got over to got her to the end of the platform. We got on the platform. She refused to help. I tried so many times, just listen, you need some help. We got to get you to, we got to get some medical assistance. We've got a cop here. No, she just refused. She just wanted to just go home.
Well, thank you. Good thinking.
Yeah.
Is Tony Ventimiglia here as we wrap up? Tony Ventimiglia? Okay, Tony, tell us a little bit. Now, you are going to be the last one I'm going to interview, and you have a very interesting experience here at New York City Transit. Well, first of all, tell us how long you've been here.
41 years.
41 years. Let's give a round of applause to Mr. Ventimiglia. I know you started out as a bus operator, then you became a service line dispatcher. And I know there's something currently that's interesting that a lot of people are oblivious to about one of your experiences here at New York City Transit. Tell us a little bit about that.
My homeless situation. I've made a friendship with a Project Hospitality woman by the name of Dominique, and she's been able to resettle about 5 people who I used to have there in the morning when I come in, homeless. And it's very rewarding to see them gone, literally, because I know they're doing better because of Dominique. Thank you.
Well, thanks for your quick thinking. Thanks to all of you medalists for all the work that you're doing. Now, we have excerpts from Porgy and Bess. You see that listed on your program?
Hang on.
Okay. And when I met with Patricia regarding this ceremony, she said she wanted something different. And my mind started twirling. People know my mind starts twirling, never know where it's going. And I started to think, okay, what is it that Deb, Andy, Patricia, and Art would like? And the first thing that came to mind was entertainment. They all love entertainment. So I decided to call some of my friends who are here today to do excerpts from Porgy and Bess. They are very renowned opera singers, and they're going to be doing stuff from Porgy and Bess, like I said earlier. I'll tell you their names. You heard from Marsha Thompson earlier, who sang the national anthem. Most of you have seen and heard Brandy Sutton. She's also here. We're going to hear from Kenneth Overton, a renowned baritone, accomplished musician in his own right. And then you're also going to hear from Gary Mitchell, who is the pianist, a very good musician, in addition to Chauncey Packer, who's a renowned tenor. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you excerpts from Porgy and Bess. Enjoy.
and evening time, and summertime and winter time. Yes, you got your man. Yes, you is my woman, now and forever. This life is just begun. This whistle is one, now and forever. Oh, best of those women, you got your boy, you love your boy. I know you mean it, I seen it in your eyes best. We'll go singing through the years. Morning time and evening time and summertime and winter time. My best, my best. From this minute I'm telling you, I keeps the smile. Oh, my Bessie, we's happy. Lord, I'm on my way. I'll ride on the road in my hair to guide my hand, guide my hand, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to a heavenly land. Oh, light on my way. Are you there to take my
I want to again thank Kenneth Overton, Brandy Sutton, Marsha Thompson, Gary Mitchell, and Chauncey Packer. So I literally had to beg them, because, you know, singers don't like to get up early in the morning. I can attest to that. And they were like, Kenny was like, really, Ron? Really, early morning? And Brandy was like, I'm going to try. You know, I have to drop my son off. How is this going to work? So I'm really, really grateful that they're here to actually celebrate with us. And again, congratulations, medalists. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Arthur Muller.
That's right. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'm Arthur J. Mahler, and I just have the honor and the privilege just to say a few closing remarks here for this morning's event. 2 years ago, in 2018, this was like the first event Mr. Byford had come to that we had at Medals of Excellence, and he was very taken by our event. I don't know what we're going to do next year because each year we keep on coming up with different ideas, and thanks to Ron and Lillian and the team, they are just constantly innovative, and the steering committee, and we're very blessed. But before we move forward, I'd like to take this opportunity, first of all, to give an additional round of applause to our honorees this year. Also, yes, please stand, yes. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Byford, Deb Prado, and Patricia Lodge, who has always been very supportive of what our unit does in trying to employee engagement, workforce relations, and supporting us in all of these different type of recognition programs. And we really believe that this is a way we can show how we value and appreciate our employees. And hopefully it's contagious, and this is something which will then permeate within the organization. I also would like to thank the steering committee who made these major decisions in working with us on this. I also would like to thank Ron and his team of singers, Brandy and Marsha and Ken and the group from Porgy and Bess. They were amazing, and we're very fortunate. Before you leave today, we would like all of our medalists to take a group picture over there. We have some refreshments for coffee, and please hang around and get a chance to talk. The medalists are the ones wearing the ribbons today, so please have an opportunity to congratulate them. That's it. All right, thank you, everybody, and thank you for everything.
Oh, one more thing. I was remiss. Porgy and Bess is in its second season at the Metropolitan Opera, which is a rarity, so get your tickets. Now, February 4th is a really good night because some of the singers that you see here today would actually be performing on that night. So, yes, I have to give that promo.
Oh, and just one other note. As I mentioned, Ron, Lillian, I believe that they deserve a round of hands as well because they went up and beyond in trying to work this out and making sure that it all flowed together. So thank you to the team for doing such an outstanding job. Everyone have a great day and be safe. Thank you.